everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Mom Squad, where we tackle all sorts of parenting questions and topics. It's August, so that means we are desperately hanging on to the precious summertime that we have left and frantically back to school shopping. Did you know the National Retail Federation says this school year will be the most expensive back to school shopping season ever? Overall spending is expected to be over $135 billion. That's up $24 billion from last year. Consulting firm Deloitte also did a survey and found that parents are saying they're going to be more frugal this year, and they're going to try to spend around 10% less than usual. So that means you're really going to have to crunch some numbers and price compare. The good news is we are doing that for you. We took some of the most common 16 items on every back-to-school list, like the 16 count of Crayola crayons, Elmer's glue sticks, highlighters, erasers, spiral notebooks, and pocket folders. Then we went online to 4 of the most popular places to buy supplies: Walmart, Target, Amazon, and Staples. Let's take a look at just a few of the varying prices. When it comes to those popular Crayola crayons, Target was the most expensive with a listed price of $6.69. Next was Amazon at $5.25, then Staples at $1.49. Walmart came in cheapest at $1.27. Okay, what about an 8 count of washable markers? Target's price was a whopping $11.76. Amazon was $9.87. Staples had them for $4.29, and Walmart was $2.29. Pocket folders. Let's look at the Jam brand pack of 6. This time Staples was the most expensive at $18.99. Walmart running a deal for $14.99. Target has them listed for $13.59, and Amazon for the win with a $7.99 price tag. But overall, when we crunched all these numbers and totaled up our cart, Amazon was the most expensive, costing $90.40 for our entire list. Target's tab was $66.36. Staples total came to $49.09, and the cheapest by far was Walmart. For all the same supplies, the total bill was $47.67. Now, I will disclose there were a couple Amazon items that you got more in a pack. It was a more bulk item, but not significantly more. Also, for things like pocket folders, we were looking at those packs of 6. You can get one folder for 50 cents at pretty much every retailer. So now I'm going to bring in my frugal friend and co-host, executive producer, Jenny Jordan, who I feel like you're always deal shopping.
Always, always.
Was that whole thing surprising to you?
It was,
Yeah.
It really was. You know, I mean, I think I knew Amazon was gonna be the most expensive, but I also know I'm the one that's like, well, it's so easy. If I just, you know, it'll be a little bit more, but maybe just a few dollars. But that's a significant savings.
Yeah.
Really it is. So that definitely was eye-opening to me. And I think, you know, I'm not one to shop around necessarily because convenience is definitely worth it to me.
Right.
My time is worth it. So seeing those numbers crunched, I think I know where I'm gonna go.
Right, well, and I feel like some of the places, I hate to call them out, but like with Target, you go, you see the back to school specials and deals all laid out in a pretty display, and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna hit up Target because there I can get this, you know, the pencils, the erasers, the back to school outfits, and pick up cereal that we're out of and milk. So it's sort of like you're there, and then you see them advertise deals, and I mean, how much time do we have to really price compare? But when you see it all laid out like that, and you see that, you know, Walmart, I know Walmart's very popular. I asked on Facebook, we're gonna get some of your answers in a minute. And one Facebook friend said, yeah, I go to Walmart, I go at night, nobody's there, and she takes her granddaughter. Yeah. And so to me, even after we did these price comparisons, a friend of mine, you know, she had texted me, you know, it rained here, so it was, what are you gonna do today? Oh, instead of the pool, we're gonna go back to school shopping. I said, well, hey, just so you know, this is where you gotta go. Here's the other thing though, I also find, and maybe in your community you have these little like mom and pop or local discount stores. That's typically where I go, just because some of these, that might even be cheaper than Walmart. I didn't want to go super local on everybody, but those are another like secret gem of where to find, cheap pencils.
And that's where I go to whenever the big stores are out of what you need.
Yes.
Because I feel like people don't think of that, so it's a little less crowded.
Yeah.
And so that's a good little tip too.
Right.
Like, because that's the other thing. Sometimes people think, oh, well, I go to the dollar store. Well, the dollar store doesn't have sometimes exactly what the teachers want, because it's like you need, I think someone said on the Facebook page, they wanted 4 red pencils, and it was like the lady had to buy 4 packs of red colored pencils.
I got to read her comment.
Yeah, read it.
Now that you're saying that, no, it's okay, because I asked, do you love it or hate it when it comes to shopping? And Heidi Lang writes, hate it. Those lists are crazy and so specific. They never mesh with what's available. One year we needed 4 red pencils. I had to buy 4 packs of colored pencils to get the 4 I needed. I get it. We've all had to pull those.
We all had to do that, and it's like, so sometimes you can't just go to the dollar store and grab, glue sticks, scissors. No, they want the big glue sticks. And at first I'm like, why? What does it mean? I've spent time in these classrooms now. First I'm like, teachers, whatever you want, whatever you need, you get from me, because I cannot do your job. You're saints and you do an amazing job, and I understand, because I remember getting the kindergarten list and it's saying crayons individually, write their name on each individual crayon. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, you volunteer and you realize they need to know, they need their blue crayon.
Yeah.
Because Timmy stole their blue crayon and they can't find it.
Right.
And they know Timmy has it because it has their name on it.
Right.
And it makes teachers' lives a whole lot easier. So that extra little work makes lives easier. I will do it. I will do it 100 times over.
Yeah.
I will buy the big glue sticks so that you don't go through 1,000 little glue sticks.
Yeah.
The teachers know. This is why they're specific on their lists, because they've gone through. They know that they're actually going to save you money, because those cheap things don't last long.
Yeah.
They know that I know a lot of my teacher friends say the colored, they like twistables.
Oh yeah,
they love
crayons.
The crayons that are twistables. Those are always really hard to find, though, I feel like. And I ordered them, and I ordered the wrong thing.
Environmentally, like extra plastic in a crayon. We don't need that.
That is hard. That is hard. But I remember too, like whenever my daughter went to kindergarten, I felt like, oh my gosh, if I don't get all the right things, the teacher's going to be mad at me, or they're going to think she did a bad.
Or she gets an F. Right out the bat. You did not bring the right school supplies.
I was like all stressed about it, and it was like, really, it's not that big of a deal. If you don't have the right thing on the first day, there's time. They aren't using all 8 glue sticks the first day. You can send them in later, which is really helpful, you know?
There's probably a rolling list.
Yes.
I probably did it the most expensive way. And I didn't realize, because I've always heard, those pre-boxed supplies where you can go and buy the box of everything that is on the list, and they ship you the box, and then I haven't even opened it. I got all 3 for my 3 kids. Haven't even opened it to make sure everything's in there. Sometimes everything's not in there. There's still like 1 or 2 items missing.
Right.
So, but those were all for kindergarten, 2nd grade. Here's the pop quiz. What grades are my kids in? Kindergarten, 2nd grade, 4th grade. All of them are over $100. And then you could add on like headphones for $5 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So I probably did it, now that I've crunched the numbers, the most expensive way. Now that I realize, I could have like gone to Walmart and piecemealed, but it's the time and money too, which actually I don't mind spending the time if it's going to save me that much. So it just depends, especially if there are those hard to find items. I guess that's where I was worried, like, okay, if they ask for 4 red colored pencils, I'm trusting that this school box is going to have it in there.
Right. And you got it on time.
Right.
And you may have just saved money on your mental health bills.
Might have.
You got it all taken care of, and that's one thing off the list.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it might be worth it for some people.
For $60? Now it sounds like
I'm
$60 in the hole at least. And that hasn't even gotten to all the other, like the clothing and the lunch boxes and the backpacks and all the other stuff. All right, so there are other ways to save too when it comes to what you buy and when you buy it. Rekha Mudaraj has the why.
Why should you wait to buy some school supplies? It's time to think about back-to-school shopping, and as parents know, those lists can be long. The days of showing up with a notebook and a number 2 pencil are long gone. According to the National Retail Federation, parents with kids in elementary through high school plan on spending an average of $890. But according to the experts, the secret to saving some money is to have a little patience and not buy all of your school supplies right now. So what can you wait to buy? Experts say to hold off on buying all of your kids' school clothes. Obviously, they have to have something to wear for the first couple of weeks of school, but clothes tend to go on clearance right after Labor Day, so that could be a good time to buy the bulk of their wardrobe. The same applies for the basics like notebooks, pens, and pencils. Those tend to get deeply discounted in September. So while students will need some supplies at the start of the year, it could be better to hold off a couple weeks for the rest of them. When it comes to tech, some of the best savings are actually happening right now. According to U.S. News, back-to-school shopping season is one of the best times to buy a new computer. That's because stores often offer discounts on computers to lure shoppers, but other items like headphones are better to buy later, not just for the discounts, but also so you don't waste money on the wrong item. Teachers can have rules about what headphones are allowed in their classroom, so find out those requirements before shelling out any money.
Reka, thank you so much. And let's talk about those clothes, because you start to see all of those things pop up, you know, whether it's a uniform, you see the 2-pack of polo shirts or the 4-pack of polo shirts now on sale. But I mean, are they still available if I wait until September? I think so.
Right. Well, okay, I'm gonna have my own tips from Jenny.
Yeah, and she does her homework, believe me.
Okay, and I just double checked this, right? If you shop at Target and you get Cat and Jack.
Yes.
Okay, keep your receipt. The leggings and their pants, guaranteed for 1 year.
Okay.
And so if they get a hole in the knee, you could take it back and get a new pair.
Oh, that's great.
Okay,
so that's constantly. For boys too?
Boys too, yes.
All right.
But I know my daughter wears the leggings nonstop.
Yes.
And they do get a hole in the knee.
Yeah.
Now, you have to remember where you put the receipt. And I don't ever remember where I put the receipt. So that's a challenge on my part.
Right.
But that's one way to save too. So that's one thing with the clothes. And she said to wait to buy the clothes. I'm like, oh, but yeah, they're having all the deals and stuff.
Yeah.
But I overheard this conversation. One of my friend's daughters is going into middle school, and you know, she's so excited, and she's, you know, getting all her clothes ready and stuff.
Yeah.
And another mom kind of gave her this advice. She was like, well, just don't buy everything now, because they go to school, then they see what their friends are wearing or what the other kids are wearing. And of course we all want to fit in, right? And we all like, and so they might say, oh no, I like those shoes, or I like that. And then they're adding more like a couple months in.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a really good advice, because I do know how that goes, right? Like you start seeing other people wearing, oh, I love that, you know?
Yeah.
So then you had just bought 5 of these t-shirts.
Right.
But now everyone's wearing this kind of t-shirt, and so you might want to just like, oh, let's get a couple things that, you know, you like, and then maybe shop again.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of places that are selling like discount, you know, like there's those resale websites where I have friends that said that they just started Nuuly. I don't know if Nuuly has kids clothes, but if you're a teen is in already adult sizes, they've been doing Nuuly. There's, what's the other one, the thrift, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, I do.
We will think of it. But they said that they're getting clothes that still have tags on them, and then they have the option to buy them at discount. So keep those websites in mind, or like resale shops if your kid is, you know, in kindergarten and doesn't care if their leggings are 2 seasons away.
Yes.
Let's go laptops too. Now, a lot of schools typically, I mean, if there's a Chromebook involved, I know that there's like a fee that you pay up front to get that Chromebook, but if you need a laptop at home, or your kid needs to find their own because they're in college or something, my husband's work will refurb the laptops that they, like when they get new laptops, like ask your work if there's refurbished laptops, because he still bought it. It's not like they gave it to him, but he got it for something crazy like $30. You know, they were like, they're just trying to make a little, It's stripped. For us with little kids, it was totally fine. If they end up ruining this laptop, we're out $30, but it's something to ask around. See if your friend, like if you don't have that available to you, maybe a friend works at a company that has those refurbished laptops. We did notice that that was significant savings. And then also, who cares if they beat it up?
Right, exactly. And that's stuff to think about too. You know, all of the college sales are going on. Sheets are on sale. There's a lot of things that are household items that you don't necessarily need high end that the college stuff does well. Laundry baskets. You know, for your kids' rooms, right? Like, why not get it? Well, it's on sale now for the college kids. Get them for your kids' rooms. Things like that that you can actually get deals on now. For later. And I mean, I'm a big, believer, and I just, shop the deals all year round. So, my kids have shoes right now that I put away. I'm like, oh, look, I got you new back to school shoes. But I really bought them at the end of the season, and they don't know. And they still fit. Yay.
We wanted to go to you and ask what the love-hate relationship you had with back to school supply shopping. So if you're not a member of our Facebook with Maureen Kyle Facebook page, please join it. I also put this on my own Facebook page, and we got some comments about love school supply shopping, hate school supply shopping. And Kim Stipe says, love it for one kid whose school posts the list before the previous year ends, so you have plenty of time, which is great. Hate it for my high schooler who gets lists gradually throughout the first week, and I have to quickly run out and shop. And then she also says her splurge item, because I asked, like, what do you splurge on? Splurge would be on the backpacks. I would rather spend the money and get them more than 1 year out of them. Kim, let's talk about this really quick, because I mean, if the school list, and maybe some school administrators are listening, like if the list comes out like earlier in the year, I've also heard, throughout the year, look for those school supplies, those common school supplies, like the number 2 pencils. If you know that your kid is going to have to bring a certain number pack of number 2 pencils next year, or those 24 pack of crayons or whatever, and you see them on clearance because now back to school is months over, then stock those away. And then you can have like the notebooks and the whatever already ready to go. Plus you know that halfway through the year, your kid goes, Mom, my crayons are all broken, or I already went through this notebook. So it's a great time to stockpile the savings once back to school shopping is over. And like I said, that's on the clearance rack.
Yes, and my mom did that growing up. And we did back to school shopping in my mom's closet. I mean, that's what we did. We'd go, okay. And she'd be like, do you want the purple or the green one? Like that was sort of what we did. And then we'd get to go out and get our backpack and stuff. And that's just how she budgeted her money, because we couldn't afford it all at one time. And that was really the key for that. And so that was really helpful. And I mean, I agree. It's like, you love it whenever you can get it all done. But that's giving me the back to school anxiety, is the like,
last
oh,
minute.
By the way, and tomorrow they need nine crazy hairdos. Thank you. That's that's what it's like.
I know. I know. That is, I feel like, what do we do in those situations? Again, teachers, we love you. We love what you're doing. So, once in a while, I'd get a teacher like, okay, tomorrow is dress like a Dalmatian day. Wear your polka dot shirt. It's like, well, what if we don't have a polka dot? No. You know what I mean? Or and there I am with, a white t-shirt making Sharpie dots on a t-shirt, So those type of things, it would be great to get a heads up, or maybe talk to a parent who had that teacher and say, okay, what do I need to know about like this upcoming spirit days or whatever they have? Those are always a scramble that Jenny and I, get nervous about throughout the year.
That's when I get the call to Maureen. Do you have a Dalmatian costume? Because I guess tomorrow there's supposed to be a Dalmatian. I don't know. It's like, what do you have
Funny thing, I do have Dalmatian ears now in the hopper, like just in the costume chest because of 101 day of school. Okay, some other comments that we got in, which I just love the interaction. Love that you guys are giving us your thoughts on all of this. Kristen Gates says she absolutely loves back to school shopping. I went back to school shopping for myself all the way through college. Now I'll slightly be disappointed by the short length of my kids' lists. She wants more. Kristen, can you shop for us?
Yes,
please.
You should become a personal shopper for people.
Do you think that's one of those things that when the kids are out of the house and off to college, you'll be like, oh, the smell of backpacks and crayons. I miss it.
You know, there is something to the back to school season. I think even before I had kids, I feel like back to school is the beginning of the year. More than a January 1st sort of situation. To me, that signals the beginning of the year, the football season, which in the fall, which is all a fresh start, right? So that's always kind of exciting, I think. I think it's a love-hate. I kind of have this ideal, like, I want to take my kid. This is that, like, we talk about those expectations, right? In my head, I'm going to take my kids school shopping, and we're going to go, and they're going to enjoy looking at shopping with me, and we're going to find the perfect backpack, and they're going to look up with me and say, thank you, Mommy, for this.
Right.
And it will really be like, no, you can't have that. Right. You have to get this one.
The bus is coming in 5 minutes.
You know what I mean? So I think that it's a love-hate relationship, but I think that there is something to, I have fond memories of going shopping with my mom or my grandma slipping me $5 to get something, a new shirt for school or something. So I think there's fond memories that can come with it.
And seeing your friends again and like getting back into that routine and the lunchroom food and all that.
And routine, just getting into routine. I think a lot of us moms are ready for everyone to have a little bit of a schedule. I mean, I think thinking about packing lunches overwhelms me, but having that schedule, I think my kids are ready. They need that a little bit right now.
Yeah. One other comment. Mary Claire Lane says, I gotta say that her school district, which is Shaker, just had a supply fee. We avoid back to school shopping entirely. So how would you feel if your school district took it away completely and just said, you know what, just pay us, we'll have the school supplies.
You don't have to buy anything, just the backpack.
You just show up with your backpack. I like it.
I like that.
I like it. I don't know if my kids, you know, does it, I have some more questions. Maybe I'll reach out to Mary Claire here and ask, does that mean like every kid has the same notebook color? Does every kid have the same exact supplies? Because then that could cut down on, you know, like my oldest is always, you know, she says she wants the yellow one, and she gets back from school and she's like, oh, but somebody had a leopard print one, you know, or like somebody had, and I was like, oh, you picked this out.
Right,
you know,
right.
Oh, well, I don't like pink anymore, or whatever it is, you know, and so could that be a great equalizer of just pay the fee? We have the supplies. Maybe they buy them in bulk. I don't know. We'll have to look
That's
into
interesting.
that.
I saw a TikTok that a lady who lives in Denmark, when they go school shopping, you buy the pencil case, and inside is everything they need. It's the pencils, it's the erasers, all of that, and that's what you buy. And then a backpack.
That's great.
I was like, oh, that's kind of good.
Yeah, especially because if it includes those quirky items that we talked about, like I grew up in my middle school teacher wanted the 4 colored pens. Because we had to take our notes in black. Black or blue. We had to, I forget what red was, like, but there were certain things we had to write, and our answers had to be, maybe I think our answers had to be in red, and any corrections had to be in green. Like, it was a little bit backwards, but it was, and we got points taken off if it was in the wrong color. So we always had to have those, you know, the 4 colored pens, which are easy to find now, but if you have the, I need 4, you know, red pencils situation, that could be difficult. Like, so if that pencil pouch already includes like specifically what that district wants, I'm in.
Now, I did love on our list, it said, you know, like the pencils, they can have mechanical pencils if they do not click them all the time and take out the lead. If your kid can, you know, handle that. Like, that's like if your kid can handle the responsibility of a mechanical pencil, that is allowed. But if not, no. Well, back to number 2.
You either have the noise of the clicking of a mechanical pencil, or the kid constantly breaking the tip of a pencil and then going to the pencil sharpener in the middle of class, like, or the winding one.
How old am I? I'm like winding up my pencil sharpener.
Showing our age. Those were the most effective, though. I will still take those.
Yes.
If any antique shop is selling one, contact me. I will buy it. It's an arm workout, and my pencil is sharp.
There you go.
All right. Well, this proved how valuable your comments are. So make sure you are joining us. Again, Mom Squad with Maureen Kyle Facebook page. That's where we're talking to you. We're getting your comments. We are getting your insight on some of the stories that we're doing. And we have a lot going on for this back to school. The next few weeks are back to school coverage. Jenny and I have been tackling the school sports comments that we always get about club sports, travel teams. Do you sign your kid up? When to know it's the right team for you? We have that coming up. And then we also have some really great coverage about anxiety, back to school anxiety, what that means for your kid and how to manage some of those fears, because no matter what, there's always something a kid is nervous about, no matter what age. Like there's the college age, then there's the grade school age, there's the kindergarten. Kids get anxious no matter what.
Yes, yep.
And so we're tackling that as well. So that's coming up for you in future Mom Squad episodes. In the meantime, Jenny, thank you so much for your frugal insight.
Oh, well, thank you. Good luck shopping, everyone.
Yes. And thanks to you for joining us. We'll see you right back here next time on Mom Squad.